I don't know how to start this video, so I'm just going to jump right into it. Video games. I really like them. They're a big part of my life, and I've been playing them for a pretty long time, since I was a little kid. And because of that, I have a lot of nostalgia built up for them. Now, when I think of nostalgia, normally the things that pop up in my head are the late nights spent playing COD Zombies split screen with the boys, or having my cousins come over and we'd all play Little Big Planet bomb survival maps and fight over the controllers because there wasn't enough for everybody. And the unlucky person had to use the PS3 media remote, which, don't get me wrong, was certainly a step up over the Rock Band drum set, but still not ideal. And although I love these memories, and there still is nothing more badass than shredding the drums when you're walking through a minefield in Little Big Planet, that's not what this video is about. This video is actually about a totally different game, but one that's just as important to me. And it goes by the name of Mini Ninjas. Now, due to the fact that that name probably doesn't mean a whole lot to most of you, I'll give you a little history lesson. Mini Ninjas was an action-adventure game developed by IO Interactive in 2009. It was released on every major platform, including the DS, and it even had a mobile game, from what I'm aware of. And even though it was developed by a AAA developer, released on every major platform worldwide, the game just never built any sort of following. And yet somehow, I managed to get my grubby little hands on it. So why do I care about such an insignificant game, eh? Well, because this was my first game that I ever beat all by myself, which is a big deal, because I would have been around 8 when it came out. So yeah, I was pretty hyped, and from what I remember, in that age, the game was pretty sick. It was kind of the bee's knees. It was pretty epic. Now, in the time that I last played the game, I've had a lot of experiences to kind of hone my gaming skills, and I've definitely become a more hardened gamer. And since I believe that video games directly correlate with hand-to-hand combat, I'm just going to put this in perspective. Here's a picture of an 8-year-old kid. Now, I'm not here to gloat, but I'm just going to be honest. I could beat the shit out of that kid. I would wipe the floor with him. There is no chance that he would even come close to winning. I'd even go as far as saying that I could beat up most 8-year-olds, Like, I get a fair amount pretty easily. Okay, I said most. That might be a challenge. Either way, I think I got my point across. I'm not a little kid anymore, so when I loaded up the game, I chose the hard difficulty. Because, let's be real, how much of a bitch would I look like if I picked easy? And I can't pick normal, because I'm not an average person, When I think of myself, I'm either aggressively above or aggressively below average. So clearly, hard was the way to go. Also, I'm not 8, and only an 8-year-old would pick normal, Anyways, these are my first impressions of the game after such a long time of not playing it. Yeah, they weren't great. On startup, the game's audio sort of ear raped me to high noon, scared the shit out of me, and that wasn't pleasant. Here's a little example I whipped up for you, so you guys can understand what I went through. So after the tinnitus had subsided and I cleaned up my soiled pants, I gave the game another shot, booted it up again, and then I heard it. Ooh, the nostalgia started. That is the stuff. The audio broke again. Stop. Those were my first impressions of the game. Not great. I did have to make some very minor audio adjustments in my sound mixer for the game. But after that slight hurdle, it was open season. We were in the game. We were ready to go. And now, only now, I can begin to actually tell you what the full game was like. Now, because I'm a professional, I'm going to review each part of the game individually, all right? And these parts I'm going to call pillars. Yep. Pillars that make a great game. Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? And obviously, there's got to be 4. Because I'm not a very creative person, and I like even numbers. So, let's get into the pillars, eh? Pillar 1, graphics. This is part of the game that Mini Ninjas really, really excels in. And when I say graphics, I'm not talking about all the ray tracing and lighting and fog effects that it uses. No. I'm just talking about its art style. Because its art style is one that's different from other games. It's not going for that crazy realistic approach. It's favoring the more cartoonish one, similar to Wind Waker or something like that. And it certainly pays off. If you look at other games that came out in 2009, dude, they just look like dick. Borderlands 1 and Assassin's Creed 2 are not good-looking games. Why do you think they've had remastered versions? And even then, they don't look great. But this game, you can still play on like a PC at 1080, and it looks fucking good, dude. It looks like a goddamn oil painting. Look at that shit. Come on, man. If that art style isn't appealing to you, you're a goof. You're a goofy idiot, and you smell. To sum up, Pillar 1, I think the visual design of Mini Ninjas is by far the best part of the game. Pillar 2, sound design. New day, new clothes. And we left off on Pillar 2. Now, yes, Mini Ninjas may have had a few, just a few audio glitches here and there. And it may have made me experience a little bit of a sensory neural hearing loss. But I'm not going to hold that to it, because Mini Ninjas, in the grand scheme of things, actually has a very well done soundtrack. Calming rhythms with a heavily inspired Japanese flair to them, And yeah, that's me trying to describe the music without having really any right to. I don't know anything about music, to be honest with you. I don't know the correct musical jargon involved in describing melodies and garbage. Like, bro, who do you think I am? I'm not a sound boy. I'm a gamer. Okay? What the hell? Here's a great example of my very poor description in a past script that I wrote for this particular segment. When walking around the beautifully crafted environments, as you listen to the charming melody matched with the sound of the wind and streams, well, it's safe to say this game's thick with atmosphere. Dude, the only thing thick in this game is the tumor growing in my frontal lobe after hearing the little samurai dudes yell, "Ninja!" for the millionth time. Due to the music, is lost because of Mini Ninja's one tiny little incy-wincy baby flaw. Which brings us to Pillar 3. The gameplay. Arguably the most important pillar. Gameplay is crucial. And you can have the top of the line, most ball-quaking visuals or amazing music design. But that doesn't matter if your game isn't fun.
Hey, hello, yo, is this fun? No, not fun.
Mini Ninjas has some slight problems with that word, fun, and I'll just go over them. Now, every game has something I'd like to call pillars of gameplay. which is not at all similar to pillars of game design. At totally different hemispheres, different continent, and most games actually have many pillars to go along with pillars of gameplay. But Mini Ninja, need abilities like shooting meteors out of your hands, or shooting icicles out of your hands, or shooting tornadoes out of your hand. Okay, they're all very similar, just different textured. But they're neat, and they give you an incentive to explore the map. And that's their purpose. Now, it's all well and good that the developers give you the option to explore the map and reward you with one of these neat little magic spells. The problem with it is that at the beginning of the game, you're gifted a ability that leads you directly to any spell in the level, which kind of takes out any exploration in the game. You just follow these butterflies and you're there. It makes the whole process so goddamn easy. A freaking sea cucumber could do it, man. Alright, now I'm going to talk about the biggest problem with Mini Ninjas. And that is its combat. Because at times, it's really, really bad. Like, makes you want to do a backflip onto your neck kind of bad. So most games with combat fall in this kind of scale, okay? The harder the game is, the more frustrating it is. The easier the game is, the more brain dead it feels. Mini Ninjas is most of the time in a brain dead zone, and once in a while it says fuck you and goes all the way up to this is rigged zone. Now, the main reason for these weird sudden spikes in difficulty is mainly due to the fact that majority of the enemies in Mini Ninjas have these annoying little traits. Great example. These spear guys here, okay? They're pieces of garbage because they are direct counter to Hero's special ability. Basically, his special ability, you hold Y, he jumps up in the air, and then he kind of teleports the 5 guys and insta-kills them all. It's pretty good. But these guys is actually the most boring combat when you're up against these guys. And it's super frustrating if you're fighting multiple of them, because then you have to stun both of them at once, and you're clicking Y, just spamming it for like 2 minutes straight. The same applies for, these dudes that can shoot like this weird little orb at you and it will lock you in place, and then you can't move. And you have to wait for them to shoot the orb again so you can hit it back at them and then kill them. It just takes a while. Everything takes a while, and it's boring. And it's like, when I think of ninja-like combat, I want it to be quick and crisp. It's not like that. Hit them and finally kill them. But once in a while, they'll just hit you with this little bitch jab, and you can't predict when they're going to do that. So you're pretty much just giving them your health away. It's so annoying, and it's not fun to fight against. Basically, what I'm saying is, for the people who designed these mechanics of these enemies, I want you to fall in a very deep and bottomless pit, along with the people who created these boss fights, because Jesus Christ, these are some boring boss fights. Now, clearly, if you're expecting, and just do that 3 times. That's pretty much how all of the first 4 boss fights play out. It's very boring, very easy to do. The final boss fight, which is, a little bit different. It has no quick time events. Basically, you run in circles. You use those spells that beforehand you had no reason to even use. And you just do that as many times as it takes for you to destroy all those orbs. Again, it's not very hard. You're running in a circle the entire time. Now, obviously, there are a lot more things I could talk about concerning the problems in the combat, okay? Like for example, this is the guys who made Hitman, and yet they couldn't make a decent stealth system in a game where you're a ninja. What? But look, I'll give credit where credit is due. There's this ghost part where you're walking through a graveyard, and it's actually kind of scary, and you have to kill these ghosts using this sunlight ability. It's actually pretty neat, and it switches up the gameplay. Not to mention, it's scary, man. I was clenching harder than Hero was after getting the 18th spear up his ass, you know? Shit was spooky. Or like the fact that you can switch up the ninjas by just holding the RB button in the middle of combat. I like that. Yeah, that's cool. You can just play as the ninja that fits the given combat scenario. It's fun. Now, there are a lot of games that can have boring stories, but still be damn good. Here's a great example. Doom. Dude, I love this game. It's awesome, man. You can freaking just murder demons and impale them and stab them and really mess their day up and have a great time. But guess what? I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know why I'm doing this. I'm just murdering demons because it's fun. If you asked me what the Doomslayer guy's freaking pastime was, I couldn't tell you. I'm just having fun killing demons. The problem with many ninjas, though, is that, unlike Doom, it doesn't have fun combat. So you'd care a little bit more about the story. Unfortunately, though, the story is about as memorable as Don Cheadle's role in the Avengers films. It's passable at best, and if you told me he wasn't in one of the movies, I don't know if I could prove you wrong without checking IMDb. Don Cheadle's acting career aside, the game holds enough plot for you to understand what's going on. So better than Dark Souls, which is about the story equivalent of a Where's Waldo book. What the fuck's going on in that game? Now, throughout this video, I might have sounded frustrated at some points, but I just want everybody to know I still love this game. Like, as much as I might have railed it really hard at some points, there are actual bits that are still actually pretty sick, with some minor hurdles, but you know what, those were bugs, so I'm not going to count them. They're easy to fix. But what I've realized is this game certainly got the "it's good because of nostalgia" treatment from me, that I think a lot of games get. So yeah, this video is done, and I still think the game is pretty good. I'm not going to give some weird, numbers as my final verdict, like a sellout YouTube channel. I'm just kidding. I give it a fraction of 18 over 25. Let's see if you can do that math, 8-year-olds. If I can't out-brawn ya, I can certainly out-brain ya. Penis breath.